Ladies and gentlemen, to the finals here for the UMG $200 minimum 4v4 variant. Taking place here on April 17th. It's myself, Lando Sanders, guiding you guys through the action tonight. Hopefully you guys have obviously enjoyed the commentating so far, and it's about to get even more interesting as we're loading in here for map number 1 of our best of 3 series. Taking place between Mazer and Squirrely eSports. Apparently this is actually a solidified organization. TTinyy, DeoX, and SStoried. Confirmed fourth is actually Zeus, but they are going to be playing, or actually Lisp Zeus to be specific, but going to be playing with Fastball for this tournament. And boy, have they had one. I was actually taking a look at their run because this is the first matchup that we've actually got to watch here from Squirrely. In round 1, they actually take down the Lethal Gaming roster, who ended up finishing in 2nd place at our last tournament. In the quarterfinals, they ended up taking down Earthroot Gaming, who we got to watch have a phenomenal series versus No Remorse. They take down ERG, and then they just now finished off a very difficult semifinal, taking down the side of Forfeit eSports. So, pretty solid stat line, it's fair to say. I mean, they definitely have a pretty decent track record when it comes down to this tournament. However, though, they want to take down the prior champions in Mazer. Of course, Mazer ended up winning our most recent Thursday tournament, the $200 minimum for that day, as they became champions by taking down the Lethal team. And it's kind of funny to say that Squirrely eSports now has to go through the 2nd place team, but also the victors from the prior tournament, which really could solidify themselves as a top team. But of course, playing with a sub. Nice to see that they are playing at such a high pace, but really, what really has been the difference maker throughout a lot of Mazer's success as far as their past tournament and even coming into tonight's as well has been this man Zaptius. He has been literally shooting lasers at the enemy. And I know I normally don't, speak along those terms, but he has just been destroying every single person that comes in his way, going double positive, finishing 12-3 in Search and Destroy, lighting it up, getting constant streaks in CTF and Search and Destroy. Like, he has really been the major difference maker for this Mazer Gaming squad. So to me, it's going to be a matter of, can Squirrely eSports keep up and take down Zaptius on a consistent basis? Can they make sure they don't really kind of get swarmed by them? And also, can this consistency from Squirrely continue, right? Because you've got guys like TTinyy, very well-known players as well, as TTinyy actually getting involved in the kill feed, ends up taking down one, the assistants on the other 2. But you've heard of DeoX. I've been able to cast over SStoried quite a bit recently. And of course, everyone knows Fastball, fast-paced reaction man himself, but known for some interesting strategies in his day. But still, man, you've got a really solid kind of final to be witnessing here between all 8 of these players. Kind of really, if you look at a majority of these guys, maybe heading into, I would say, probably beginning of Infinite Warfare, if not the beginning of World War II, you probably don't know any of these names except for Fastball. Like being absolutely literal, right? I mean, I've heard a lot of these guys toward the beginning of this title and kind of leading into what was the preseason for World War II, whenever everyone was playing solidly Search and Destroy on Ghost. So it's been a really fun, opportunity to watch a lot of these teams play and see how they've kind of developed. But kind of hopping into the game as it currently stands, barrel building. The current rotation as Fastball is making it look easy in these close quarter engagements, which is exactly what he's known for. Fastball starts to fall, and TTinyy is there to throw a pitch of his own. It's 10-7 right now for him. 2 kills in a row, about to make it 3 if he can shut down Gizmo, but no, he ends up falling, and just like that, 2 other teammates just before him as 4 go down inside of the hardpoint. And right now, if you're Squirrely, you've got to really be aware of the rotation coming underway the opposite side of the map when it comes down to Crane. And it looks like early setup will be established as the final few players drop. Well, that is kind of a nice thing to get the enemy out of the hardpoint. You've also given them spawns for the next hill as well. So Dox Crane not going to be seeing a crazy amount of time be granted, as I believe Fatal might have just stuck. Is that really right? Did he just stick SStoried across the map? I'm not exactly sure, but either way, you could definitely call it a Kobe nade. But as DeoX, man, some of these guys are hitting some pretty insane shots at the beginning of this map. A casual drop shot leading into a 2-piece from DeoX. As now Squirrely eSports find themselves in a 5 spree, and DeoX is the reason why they're currently holding down Dox Crane and making it look like a money hill. Players trying to enter in through this water side, but DeoX is having none of it. Nearly finds 6 kills in a row, but making his teammates inside of the hill have a very easy time. And this is one thing that's definitely notable off the start of this London DeoX is the factor of Squirrely really having guys at the beginning or the really front line of the hardpoint delaying the enemy from getting inside of that hill, really kind of eliminating, diminishing the numbers hopping in toward the hardpoint. We've seen TTinyy do that. We've obviously seen SStoried pull off a few plays as well, along with Fastball. I mean, all of these guys have really been putting on some pretty insane performances, and you've got to argue that's probably the reason why they're in control of this match as it currently stands. But of course, 126-87. Second set of rotations are now underway as the red side currently of Mazer look to try to bring themselves back into this match. One thing that's been nice, really, for the boys on Mazer and what's really been kind of notable in their past 2 wins has obviously been Zaptius' performance along with Frostyyy, but it's also been their consistency in multiple game modes. One game that they were struggling in has been their search and destroy, I would say about maybe 3 weeks ago. I was wondering, I'm really looking at this team and being like, where's the search and destroy? I mean, you look at all 4 of these guys on paper, that's what they built their career on, is search and destroy, especially GloFrostyyy and Zaptius, the most known that I'm familiar with. But they've kind of built their career off of search and destroy. How are they not just an amazing search and destroy team? And it just seems as of recently, they've really kind of turned it up a notch and had kind of developed themselves into being a very solid Game 1 and Game 2 team. And then also now looking at their last series, they face off, right, against a pretty solid team when it comes down to CTF in Midnight. They beat them on this exact map of London DeoX 6-1. They make it look easy with having 2 players nearly go over double positive. So something to be looking out for Mazer, is their consistency. From game mode to game mode, they look to be pretty dominant in just about everything. And if you take a hardpoint off of them, you can't relax when it comes down to the search and destroy as Frostyyy combines for 2, has the opportunity to go for 3 fatal, watching over his comrade as Mazer desperately trying to get back into this game, making sure it doesn't end before it even starts, as they'll be grabbing the scrap seconds when it comes onto Main Street. And now it's going to lead here into 10. The money hill for London DeoX ready to go. Rotations are set here for the side of Squirrely. Just trying to throw a pun in there, but it just doesn't fit right now. We'll work on that for a little while. But players coming through the back lines. It's actually going to be Zaptius along with Fatal. A nice break, and it looks like just through that, the side flank leading into the pinch works out very well for Mazer. So you talk about a rotation on the opposite side of the map in that lower street. They make the full rotation. They only give away, what, maybe about 20 seconds toward their opposition. Keeping that in mind, though, big gunfights happening, and Gizmo wins a huge 1v1. His team now holds the advantage inside of the hardpoint yet again, so holding on with that consistency. Frostyyy actually comes through with 3 big kills. A nade along with his STG is all he needs right now. He's got a pink AR sitting through mid-statue, and boy, is it evident. One thing that's really nice about DeoX Warehouse, and the reason being why people kind of call it the Money Hill, is that usually Money Hills, like you talk about St. Marie du Mont when it comes into a winery or even parking lot, the only negative about holding the Money Hill for maybe like the last 20 seconds is that rotation, right? You want to hold it for like the first 40, the first 50, then try to make sure you're on the rotation. What's really nice about holding the rotation when it comes into DeoX, you're about maybe a few steps away, right? You're really the entry point into barrel stairs. It's maybe about a 3-second walk in Call of Duty terms, a 3-second sprint, right? Maybe a dolphin dive or 2, and then you're in the next hard point. That's, to me, why it's considered the Money Hill. Obviously, because it's the ability to control it is a lot easier than other hills, but it also sets you up for perfect spawns toward the next hill, which is literally right next to it. And it seems as if the latter half of those points going toward Mazer. I say that, though, with a grain of salt, as barrel building was totally dominated from Squirrely eSports. That's currently a 9 streak in total for SStoried and DeoX. Just as I say that, they start to get eliminated off the map. TTinyy falls. There goes Fastball 2. And now all 4 players at the end of barrels have to make their way all through this waterside street. They try to grab some of this very crucial time. So 4 players fall in quick succession. That's the worst thing you could ask for when it comes into DeoX Crane. However, we talk about this hill can be very cluttered from time to time, and Zaptius has to go big, doing exactly that, finding kills left and right, and so is Frostyyy. 6 in a row for this man, trying to bring themselves back into this game, and they could quite literally take the lead of this match. Frostyyy, 7 kills in a row, 11 in total as a team. He's got the glide bomb, and he could have the mortar strike, and just like that, there goes TTinyy, eliminating the members of Squirrely eSports off the map. as Frosty literally just taking over right now, freezing the enemies as 9 kills in a row. Every single second of Doc's Crane has gone the way of Mazer, and it looked grim off the start. But boy, is it looking positive now. We talk about how well Zaptius has been playing. You cannot take anything away from Frosty either. Both incredibly solid players who have shown their skills when it comes down to the respawns. 10 kills in a row now for Frosty. He's got streaks whenever he needs to use them. He needs his teammates to hop inside of the hill, but Frosty is not missing. 11 kills in a row. As I'm about to lose my voice, thank goodness someone was there to take them down. But despite that, though, he's brought them back into this match. We could see another lead change, but here comes the glide bomb from above. Frosty begins to take them down, and he has the perfect streaks to utilize when it comes down to these next hills. The next one totally open. Going toward now Main Street. Scrap seconds being taken toward the side of Squirrely. Gizmo tossing out the nade. Frosty going big. Same thing with Gizmo. He finds another. 3 kills in a row. Last person alive is going to be TTinyy. He ends up dropping 2. And looks at the streaks are starting to show themselves off as here comes the fighter pilot. The lead change comes in. All 4 players toward the backside, and Frosty tagging him up with shots. Gizmo ready to fire upon, who's ready to enter in toward his line side, but he ends up dropping. Fastball finding 2 big kills, but Frosty is holding the line again. 4 kills in a row. He wants the 5th, and just like that, the exclamation point as he is just destroying the side of Squirrely. Frosty, my word, single-handedly will close out this map 1 and give his team a huge amount of momentum when it comes to map 2. What a performance from Frosty, as I'm sure I'm going to see that one again. My goodness, man, 39 and 25 gives his team. I mean, you want to talk about momentum. I mean, just getting hype off of that. The team, the comms had got to be flowing. And Mazer take map number 1. It was not easy by any means, but it definitely took a heroic performance. And Frosty is there to wear the cape and kind of guide his team toward a win on London Docks. Let's go and take a look here at our Hardpoint breakdown and see exactly how things obviously did line out. When it came to the statue, obviously was at a little bit of an advantage toward the side of Squirrely as they had an advantage 61 to 33. You see a big change, though, for Mazer as they dominate Main Street 91 to 22. Warehouse, Barrels, Crane, you could obviously talk about a few of those hard points. Really kind of go back and forth fairly even when we talk about Barrels and Crane, but a major difference there on Main Street, like we talked about what, 70-second advantage in total. When you talk about Main Street, the rotation that was obviously made, that obviously ends out the game in total, really. When you talk about Frosty's performance, it kind of closes out there. So, wow. I've literally lost my voice already just by that particular play from Frosty, but I've been hyping up Zaptius so far throughout this entire tournament, but you got to really give Frosty some love as well. I mean, he's been playing and really has had a very consistent performance in a lot of these tournaments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for potentially the final time here. Of course, our current grand final matchup taking place between Mazer Gaming and Squirrely eSports. It was the side of Mazer who took map number 1, Hardpoint on London Docks, 250 to 223. And off the back of this man, Frosty finished off 39 and 25. Had a unreal performance, going on constant streaks, giving his team a massive momentum boost. And talk about momentum. 3 kills in a row off the start of this round. DeoX wondering what just happened to my teammates. Thankfully, drops 1 onto Frosty, but is going to need a 1 versus 3 just to guarantee his team a win in this round number 1. Of course, bomb gets planted. DeoX now going for the re-challenge. And right after fatal, he's got no nades. It's cool just to chill up top B-Dom. Pretty easy to chill in Ardennes Forest, it's fair to say. But it looks like Mazer will hold strong despite a decent opportunity there from Squirrely at the end. It's Zaptius, though, with his lovely design PPSH. Lovely creativity that we've been seeing from the players. It's been nice. But looking on here, I really want to try to focus a lot on Squirrely and to see what exactly their strategies are going to be to try to combat Mazer. With, of course, the current reigning champions winning last Thursday's tournament, the UMG $200 minimum, and wanting to become back-to-back champions. Fastball going for these early rushes. This is exactly what he's known for, but Zaptius is waiting. A bar just outside the smoke. Probably quoting a few different lines from cinema. Welcome to my, or say hello rather, to my little friend. As the bar, man, just absolutely dominating fastball. It's as if they know exactly what Squirrely is going to be doing. I mean, you see the smoke get tossed out. The immediate attention for Zaptius is just to laser his bar at where fastball's coming out from. Picture perfect play in the first 2 rounds. And Zaptius and Search and Destroy 7-0 combined with him and Fatal. Smoke get tossed out along with the nade. SStoried is weak and has to back up. You can see he is absolutely blind. The only thing that he knows is the objective is not getting down, at least for right now. Pre-fire shots coming forward, and Zaptius manages to stay up. But at the same time, one ends up falling. It's actually going to be Frosty. Zaptius just outside toward the stairs. I can't even speak. It's such a fast game. But Fatal in a 1-on-3. Would be nice to have 3 rounds in a row, but it's just not looking likely. And based on his current streaks, you really want to try and stay alive. It's not looking likely that you can escape out of this round, especially with the current positions that Squirrely hold. But it looks like, yes, Fatal's going to kind of hang in the back lines of the map as you just really kind of see the overall positions of SStoried, Fastball, and TTinyy. You also notice right there, TTinyy pulling out the M19 sniper rifle. He is known for his plays with that particular weapon, and one to be looking out for when it comes into future rounds. But as Fatal will hold on to these streaks, or progression rather, toward those streaks, we'll see Squirrely be able to chalk one up on the board. So loading in for this next round, Squirrely back on the offense. We'll see what they try and attempt to do. Of course, last scenario, fastball rushes through the smoke in toward that cabin cut. Does not work out. And it was Zaptius who found the early 2-piece. It looks like for the side of Squirrely, they're not interested in the objective. They just want to go for the kills. They leave the bomb in the back of the map. And Frosty is there to greet fastball yet again. First blood found, but it's quickly traded. TTinyy trying to seek out the second kill. Finally takes down Gizmo. And now it's a 2 versus 3. Man count advantage definitely now in favor of Squirrely. Zaptius now has to reference back. No progression really toward his streaks. It's just a matter of trying to escape out of this round. It looks like it will be SStoried who references back, grabs the objective. And they are not taking the bait. Zaptius just wants them to enter in toward this line side. Drops 2! Zaptius somehow has pulled off nearly the impossible. A 1 versus 1. Zaptius versus TTinyy. And right now, if you're TTinyy, you've got to be shell-shocked. How did my 2 teammates just drop that quick? Can Zaptius convert the 1 versus 3 and pull off one of the most impressive clutches that I've seen so far in World War II? Goes for the dolphin dive inside of this cut. And TTinyy is very wary of his exact position. Had the opportunity, but man, talk about a play from Zaptius. That was just unreal. The timing that he gets does not miss a bullet. I'm in shock. I really am. I thought the 1 versus 3 was going to happen. I thought he was going to win the 1v1, but good play from TTinyy, right, to hold that top B-down position, to realize where he's at, to not go away from watching that perspective. So solid play coming in from TTinyy, combats the 1v3 and gives the second round in a row over towards Squirrely. And welcome Fatal to the respawn screen. DeoX, fastball, all finding kills, and now it's Frostyyy. A quick little 1v4. As Squirrely eSports sitting over a postcard saying, hey, this third round looks pretty nice. Wish you were here. Pretty nice venture, but Frostyyy 1v3 down. Not out necessarily, but just not looking likely as TTinyy. How did that sniper bullet not impact Frostyyy in any way? He actually tosses out the stun. I love that play from Frostyyy. That just goes to show the craftiness from these search and destroy players. He tosses out the stun to combat TTinyy, who's in B-Dom. Immediately as the stun hits TTinyy, goes for the challenge on the player inside of you. Can't find the kill, but in a bullet difference, and that's potentially a 1v1 in that situation, but a stun is what you have to have when it comes down to facing off against this man in TTinyy, right? Sniper does not miss, and when it does, it's by a fraction of an inch, and I'm not even sure if that's possible, but still, man. These guys are showing up. Zaptius 8-3 as it stands. Of course, no streaks to the names. We're actually going to take a look at all 8 players, rather, see if there's any progression. And it looks like TTinyy not far away. This kill could actually do it. 10 points away. He wants to kill into Zaptius, but 2 of his teammates drop so early that he now has to reference back. He needs SStoried. And SStoried is sitting inside a back bell as they have to figure out the situation. Because TTinyy, how in the world did he just get that hit marker, man? Like, what is going on? And there's the nade. He somehow takes out Fatal, tells him to catch, and that's how he finds his first streak. And if you're TTinyy in the situation, right, you have the sniper rifle, you have the advantage at long range. You're not going to most likely win this round. And really just wait for an enemy to make a mistake. Player number 2, actually, I believe, is Frostyyy. Does spot out TTinyy, so they have an idea as to where his position is. That unless Frostyyy just happens to be staring at this point of view. But yeah, they know TTinyy is sitting inside the middle. They want to silence him as quick as possible, and so they will kind of come out there of that round with a positive. Of course, winning the round in total, right? Grabbing the third. But also eliminating TTinyy from not having any more progression toward those streaks. Because you talk about a kill, and he's got 2 more on top of that glide bomb. So loading in here toward round number 7. We're level at 3. Who can grab this 4th round advantage? As Zaptius will have the bomb off the beginning of this offensive round here for Mazer. As they're going to be playing a little bit slower in this round number 7. Player number 2, though, is going to be Frostyyy. Watching what could be an early flank. They know fastball, man. They know what he likes to do. He likes to be the front line of offense and or defense. He wants to establish these early fights. He wants to find the first blood. Overall, fastball's goal is to run at the enemy and hope that a trade happens, at least. But he's got such a fast-paced reaction time. It's difficult to take him down and really try to have any counter strats against him. Because how can you really counter a player who plays this quick? It's a matter of backing up and trying to establish control. But look at the streak actually comes from above. That one from TTinyy, nothing gets found from it. And here comes the shots onto fastball. He ends up falling in just inside of ruins. And now it's SStoried and TTinyy yet again, hand in hand, having to go for a clutch. Grenade tossed out. SStoried has to go for the challenge onto the bomb and takes out a player. He takes down Gizmo. And if you're Frostyyy and Fatal, you have to get the objective down quick. And SStoried is in the exact same position. Can he catch the line sight? Can he catch the point of view? And it looks like he will not. My goodness, these rounds are just coming down to such minimal play, such minimal moments, right? If that gunfight maybe happens a few seconds later, you're looking at probably a round to go the way of Squirrely, but thankfully, Mazer able to kind of rebound in that situation. Get the bomb planted and really kind of go from there, but Let's take a quick look at our scorecard in just the top right. 9 and 4 for both Zaptius and Frostyyy. 2 and 3 for Fatal. 1 and 5 for Gizmo. Now make it 1 and 6 as TTinyy finding the initial first blood. He's hungry. He wants another, and Fastball's about to grab the second. 2 quick kills. Fatal and Zaptius, 2 versus 4. Zaptius is just so slippery, man. He's like almost impossible to kill at this point. Takes down one and nearly shuts down DeoX. He's ready for this fast-paced engagement, and Fastball doesn't even know where he is. Zaptius is playing a different game. Fatal on one side, Zaptius from the other. Zaptius does get some shots tagged in, so this is opportunity for Fatal to take down one. Where is SStoried lingering? Where is he hiding? And he doesn't see him in the corner. Zaptius set him up so well for the situation. SStoried was probably might have regenerated his health by then, but had a few bullets in his side. And if Fatal catches him in that corner, he has already the advantage as far as health is considered. He backs up, re-challenges, then we have ourselves a different 1v1. But we are seeing some awesome Call of Duty action. If you haven't done so already, tweet out the stream. Twitch.tv/UMG events. Mazer versus Squirrely. Leading into round number 8. Could be seeing some overtime. It's definitely seeming possible as Fastball off the start takes down Fatal. Fatal and Gizmo definitely not having performances they'd like to replicate anytime soon. But Gizmo can turn it around here, but the shaky shots. Frostyyy, 1v4. I'm just imagining the sound the Fastball made, like a dolphin sound, just kind of entering toward that fight. Just totally comes around the corner blind and just dolphin dives around. And that's the only kill that Frostyyy will manage to secure, as M19 shots and STG shots, rather, immediately are there to greet him around that corner. As it will be Squirrely who grabs the 5th round and are really wanting this CTF. But what's in the store, rather, for Mazer? They need Fatal and Gizmo to at least grab a kill. Collectively, at least grab a kill. This is Fatal's opportunity. Nice trigger discipline. Has the opportunity to take down Fastball. It's exactly the one that you need. Has the opportunity for the second. Firing through the cabin walls as only one will fall. But at least managed to find the trade at the exact same time. SStoried drops Zaptius. It's up to Gizmo. It's up to Frostyyy. The shaky shots from Gizmo again, man. 1 and 8. And Frostyyy, good luck, my friend. 1v3. Bomb being planted inside a cabin. And it's looking very likely that we are going to be visiting a capture the flag on Flak Tower. As he reveals his position, as the time starts to tick down, it looks even more and more unlikely. We've seen Frostyyy in the clutch. This one, though, is just, this one's out of reach. It's not going to happen. What you talk about, right? I mean, if Gizmo finds a kill, if Gizmo, or excuse me, if Gizmo ends up finding that kill kind of through that mid-cave area, this is a different situation. This is a 2 versus 2, a retaken cabin, which happens all the time. Without question, the reason why Mazer lose this series, or not lose this series, excuse me, lose this map, is because of Gizmo and Fatal's performance. I mean, look at the scoreboard, right? We see Zaptius 11 and 7, or we'll have to wait till the scoreboard comes back up. But both of them finished off with like 11 kills. Or yeah, it looks like Zaptius 11 and 7, Frostyyy 11 and 7, 3 and 6 from Fatal, 1 and 8 from Gizmo. You cannot have performances like that continuing to happen if you expect to win a tournament. You have to have everyone playing at a consistent rate. There were such amazing moments in that game that you have to obviously give credit to both sides of Mazer and Squirrely just because of what really took place in there. But, of course, a 6-4 victory here from Squirrely solidifies that we are going to be visiting a map number 3. Of course, capture the flag on Flak Tower. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time as we're entering in toward map 3 CTF on Flak Tower between Mazer Gaming and Squirrely eSports. We just witnessed a Map 2 thriller on Ardennes Forest. It was Squirrely who managed to get the better of Mazer in that round 10 exchange. Of course, just before that match took place, we ended up seeing a hardpoint on London docks, which went the way of Mazer, 250 to 223. Of course, back-to-back maps being incredibly close, and I'm expecting to see the exact same here when it comes down to Flak Tower. Off the break, Zaptius and Frostyyy have really been the major stars here for Mazer Gaming, especially in that last search and destroy, both finishing off with 11 kills, or 22 kills rather, in total, 11 kills each. And from Squirrely eSports, it's kind of been an overall team affair. Different players going off at different moments. TTinyy having a big moment in the search and destroy. Fastball as well. SStoried and DeoX been playing pretty consistently as well. And it looks like off the back of a solid play, a solid sneaky play from Zaptius, getting behind enemy lines, takes out the players that he needs to, gets out of dodge, and the teammates are there to watch the cuts. At the same time, though, Fastball nearly escapes out of dodge, but will be taken down. SStoried, the last man up from this last push. He should be dead to rights, and just like that, 4 enemies fall. And this is looking good for Mazer to grab some more map control. And Zaptius has some help from his teammate Fatal. Looking a lot more collective as a unit when it comes down to this game mode, as Zaptius has already earned the artillery barrage. Starting off these games in such incredible fashion. Here comes the glide bomb. DeoX is done. He dolphin dives to his death. And while the glide bomb doesn't necessarily do a crazy amount of damage, it at least allows the boys from Mazer to kind of hang at this kind of 20-yard line, essentially, just behind the goal. They still have the map control in their favor. His fastball does find a big kill onto Gizmo. That's going to break open middle map. And while Frostyy's finding kills on this side, it looks like he combines for 2, 4 streak for Frostyyy. 3 kills go down from Squirrely, and this is looking great. Can Frostyyy escape? And he unfortunately is about to enter in toward the jaws of TTinyy, as he will chop down and enter in now toward his 3-kill streak. When we talk about Flak Tower, when we talk about capture the flag in general, it's a matter really of teamwork, it's a matter of chemistry, and it's really a matter of kind of grabbing those streaks, to be quite frank with you. Finding the streaks can be absolutely huge for a team, and really kind of having the players to linger in through mid-map to kind of go on those sprees and whatnot can just be an absolute nuisance. And speaking of such, Fastball, the very fast-paced play, his name suggesting exactly what he does around the map, will manage to score a flag for his team. The 4 go down for Mazer. And Fastball is able to bank off of that. Is now out of spawn, less than 2 minutes remaining in this first half. And we've been seeing a very tightly contested game between both of these teams. A phenomenal grand final so far, and it's looking to get even better. So it looks like player number 8 is going to be TTinyy. Tries to get out of dodge, ends up going for a dolphin dive. Fastball, SStoried, find the kills, and they look like they could be grabbing their second flag capture of the game. One player, though, is just behind, and Frostyyy, along with Gizmo, combined for 2. Gizmo is there for the kill, along with a dolphin dive, which will return the flag back safely to the Mazer base. So a solid play coming in from Squirrely, but the defense all the stronger, as now we are still level at 1. Zaptius, at the start of this game, had earned the streaks and still has them in his back pocket. Has got the artillery and has the fighter pilot. Play number 7 is DeoX. Finds a big kill onto Gizmo. And we'll see if he can escape out of this very sticky situation. You see him and Fatal having some decent timing. Can he win the fight? He manages to do it with the pistol, and he might escape here. Has SStoried to watch over his cut, but it looks like SStoried's going to need to go big. The flag is ready and waiting for anyone to put their hands on it. And there's Frostyyy right in front of you, but no, Frostyyy goes big, and TTinyy is not in a position to try and challenge. As back-to-back situations, the defensive end for Mazer is looking stellar. As if it weren't for certain 1v1s, this could be 3-1 in favor of Squirrely heading in toward the second half. But we're even. And that's been the story of this entire series, is these teams have been even. The Hardpoint, but a 25-second difference in that match. We see a round 10 in the search and destroy. And we're level at 1. Heading in toward our next 5 minutes. Who will become champions for tonight's tournament? A lot on the line. Money, especially that pride. We know, if you know anything about the Call of Duty scene, pro players, semi-pro players alike, very, very pride-driven. Want to have those titles, want to be able to compare themselves with the greatest of all time. And of course, trying to establish a lot of teamwork heading into a huge event for a number of different rosters. In CWL Seattle, I believe both of these teams, of course, Fastball being substituted out for Zeus, as far as Squirrely eSports is considered. Both teams should be competing at Seattle, as far as my knowledge is considered, so getting a lot of crucial practice. Be looking out for both these squads when it comes down to the open bracket. Not teams that you'd prefer to face off against, as they are looking solid in just about every single game mode. SStoried tries to advance himself up the map, but as he drops, so does Fastball. But DeoX and Co are still trying to make a push. TTinyy is still here, but it's getting silenced. 3 go down, and just like that, resets back to the drawing board if you are on Squirrely. But take a look at this play, though. Fastball, does he show the aggression, or does he let the enemy go past him? He actually goes for the challenge, takes down Zaptius. And Frostyyy has to reference back to nice player counting coming forward here from Mazer. And that's a big factor when it comes down to Flak Tower, is the ability of player counting. Who's going to making their way up through the lanes, knowing players who are going on streaks. Of course, a lot of different elements come in communication, and that's the name of the game. When you talk about capture the flag, is the communication, especially on a fairly fast-paced map like Flak Tower. Looks like Zaptius, though, having some fun in the enemy base, but can't stay alive for much longer, as they're going to go ahead and ignore the return and want to immediately go for a push. They realize how important this play is. And we'll see if SStoried and Co from Squirrely can make anything happen. Fastball ends up falling. 3 players dropping for the entire lobbies. It looks like everyone has fallen. DeoX is the only man with a life. And right now it's player number 3, Fatal, who's going to have to sprint, tosses out the nade to try and delay him for as long as he can, but DeoX has the shelter. The artillery barrage gets placed down, so he has to wait here. His push gets silenced for the time, but he's going to rush through it regardless, and he's able to put it in. DeoX through the artillery barrage will dolphin dive his way to giving Squirrely eSports the advantage. Just over 2 minutes left in this second half of Capture the Flag. 2 minutes away from crowning a champion. And Mazer Gaming want to make it 2 in a row, but they need consistent performances. They need to play better. And Zaptius is giving them exactly what they need. 3 kills in a row, looking for SStoried. There's the 4th. Can the push be made? Players in the back of the base, the utility being utilized. TTinyy is weak. Frosty finds 2. TTinyy's the last player defense, and just like that, they find the kills. But here is SStoried. They find him off the spawn. 4 players down, and player number 6, Fastball, has to make the run of his life. He's on the sprint. Can he make this play be ended here for the tournament? Can it be tied? Or are we seeing the boys from Squirrely eSports take it, and just like that, we are tied? Zaptius goes huge in the base, and along with that, he's found himself full streaks. 5 kills in a row for Zaptius. Playing out of his mind. Unreal stuff. Still lingering through mid-map. 6 kills in a row. 55 seconds remaining, and they have got full streaks to work with. But take a look at this. Fastball has found himself behind enemy lines. He's taken down. Gizmo and Zaptius finding kills in quick succession. 3 players dropping in the lobby. And we could be seeing overtime. It's definitely a possibility. But be keeping in mind, those cheeky streaks in the back of Zaptius' pocket could definitely come into use. And here comes 1, the fighter pilot. The nade from Fatal goes big. 2 players are falling. Frosty has got the flag in his possession. Here comes the play. Can they make it in time? Here comes the run. The opportunity for Major to close out the tournament. 3 kills in a row. 4 players dropping. The glide bump for good measure. Can any streak stop this play from happening? And just like that, Frosty will score the flag home and give Major the victory in tonight's tournament. A buzzer beater to be crowned champions for the 2nd time in a row. Congratulations to Major Gaming on winning tonight's tournament. But boy, it was not easy. One of the most entertaining tournaments that we've had in a very, very long time. And without question, I think it's fair to say one of the best finals that we've had in a very long time as well. Of course, taking a look here at our scoreboard at the end, especially from the winning team, you see Zaptius 22 and 14, Frosty 18 and 17, Gizmo, Fatal, they turn up. They play so much better when it comes into the CTF, and that overall is the difference maker in this match. You see overall a collective team effort, of course, from both sides. TTinyy doesn't have the best match of his life, to say the least, here from Squirrely eSports. He finishes off 13 and 21. But, man, talk about a tournament. If you guys did, of course, enjoy, you guys can feel free to, of course, watch back those VODs on our YouTube channel. Of course, youtube.com/UMG events. If you haven't visited us yet over there already, make sure to do so. We've got a number of awesome different content pieces coming out. Of course, I recently started a show on there as well called the Esports Dispatch. Feel free to obviously tune into that, where we have videos going up pretty much daily when it comes to the Call of Duty topics. It's kind of a show where I can bring on analysts, kind of talk about my opinions as well regarding the Call of Duty community, even the esports community as a whole as well, kind of talking about different aspects as far as the esports kind of main stories are considered, giving opinions and whatnot. Overall, I think it's an awesome show to obviously have, and UMG has been awesome to obviously allow that to take place. And, of course, all of that is live here from the UMG studio. YouTube content, streaming content as well. Of course, if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to, of course, hit the follow button. Of course, here at twitch.tv/UMG events. We're live here every Thursday normally for our $200 minimums. Of course, the only reason why we're live here today, or currently now it's Wednesday, but normally here on Tuesday for tonight is because that we do have CWL Seattle actually coming up this next weekend. So I want to give the players the ability, the accommodations to practice for that tournament, and also the ability to have a tournament to play in, right, heading into that tournament as well. Not going to have a whole lot of teams want to play in a Thursday tournament. We've got everyone already kind of practicing and heading into Seattle as well. So, yeah, guys, that's going to do it for tonight's tournament. If you guys haven't done so already, of course, feel free to visit us on our website, of course, umggaming.com. And along with that, we really want to thank the referees along with production for helping this tournament run smoothly. You guys have been absolutely awesome tonight. Really appreciate the support. Chat interaction was obviously awesome. Got to give another credit to Major Gaming and, of course, too, as well, Squirrely eSports for having a phenomenal final. That definitely made this one to remember.
Go on myself. I'm cold, steel stainless. My glass half full. Always said don't suffer no fools.